Hello again, Jerry, Old Guys Review. So, here is part 2 of the build video of the HG P806 trailer. So, I don't have all the doodads on it because it's going for paint. But more observations for those of you who are doing this build. There are missing screws, I'll tell you right now. So, if you take on this kit, you may or may not get one that has screws missing. I had probably a total of 6 screws that were missing. Luckily, I always have extras. And I had the right ones to get the job done. Plus, I don't know if I have or have not gotten down to the bottom of HG's wiring issues. So, as I told you before, I tried it out. The only lights I could get to work were the tail lights. And once I started putting the kit together, I decided I was going to slowly investigate. And I'm trying to find the fancy picture in the book, which is right here. So, page 18, step 35, shows you a nice picture of the light circuit board. And it shows wires, which I could only assume the dark wires are supposed to be the black wires. Well, what I noticed was, according to what it says in the book and the picture it shows, every one of these lights are wired backwards. The plugs. So, I switched all my wires around, my blacks and reds, instead of unsoldering all these boards, and tried it. But of course, probably anyone else who's run into this, the first time you plug it in, it specifies in this book to ensure that you don't put power to the wires the wrong way. So, I don't know if that's true or not, but for the rest of you that have these kits, look at that nice picture, because I will say that so far this book, the graphics in it have been very accurate for if you weren't quite sure about something. Now, some of the stuff, the books aren't as well explained. So, one of them I noticed was with where the wheels go on. So the wheels go on. The picture shows you putting the pin in first and then a spacer. Well, anyone who's built a kit at all knows that you've got to use that pin to hold your hex. So, I'm not saying that would catch up a lot of people who would take this build on, but there's a chance, if you're new, you haven't done it before, that'd catch you. And then you're going to wonder why you can't put your tires on. Other than that, there's just a couple of little things. I will confess to my brilliance that this kit has many E-clips. I only lost one, but then I found it before I moved on to the next step. So I was pretty pleased with that. Second of all, they have these mesh nets This one has screws in it. This front one doesn't have anything. So I put some adhesive in there just to hold it in, because it just seemed weird to me to have that there with nothing holding it in. Now, the suspension, I don't know if I may or may not have messed up a little bit with this one, but from my other trailers experience and other trucks that have a weaker suspension on them, when you go over the kind of terrain that I set up, the suspension, when it's really soft, doesn't always work. So this one says to put these soft springs. You get 2 sets of springs, hard springs and soft springs. So I don't know if this is going to mess me up, but first I thought about it. I put soft springs here, put hard springs here, and then put soft springs here. And I didn't really like it in this location. It seemed like it just held this tire. These tires stayed up higher than these. So I moved it back to here. So we'll see how that works out on the terrain. Unfortunately, I don't have a truck to hook it up to. Now, if any of you are wondering, and you have a Tamiya truck, we'll just try this little Viz, if I can get it in there. So there's where the trailer sits. You got about 3 inches or so of space. This trailer will literally nose down, and the back wheels won't even be on the ground. So it's not going to work with the Tamiya, even though it kind of fits in the hitch. I figured a king hauler or a night hauler is the second longest Tamiya truck I have. You know, it looks okay on there. It'll be fun to haul the semis around. Now, what I find very excellent about the slope of the front of this trailer is you take the old 803 and it just consumes that trailer. So that's going to be so excellent to see that hauling around. I can't wait. But wait, the only other truck that the fifth wheel doesn't work on is, of course, the heavy haul. There's plenty of room on that trailer for the heavy haul too. And the heavy haul's got a pintle on it, so if I decide to do something up front, like a winch, I can winch that right on. And the heavy haul was doing some mudding. It's doing some mudding, if you couldn't tell. Something I've never done with a semi before was go through a puddle. And that thing did it. So now I'm just going to paint it up so it can just sit around and wait for a truck to pull it. But excellent build so far. You know, the electronics are screwy. I don't know if I'm going to worry so much about the controller. The controller works, but what I didn't know was that you got the button on it. Did I turn it on, or oh, maybe I turned it off. You can just use the button on the deck. I don't even need the little controller. The controller was neat, and yeah, I guess it would work for the lights, but now that's my RC's got me motivated to make my own lights and I can see if these circuit boards work. If not, hopefully the bulbs aren't burnt out and I can use the bulbs. But that's about it for now. There we go. You know, that in itself, that's pretty friggin' neat right there. So it goes up and down. I just got to do the chains. I'm going to see if I want those painted or not. So put the chains on, and then I'm calling it good for now. So everybody, let me know about your own experiences with these trucks or the trailers, if you built them or not. But with the size and weight of this thing. Oh, and one more thing. The tires are the exact same size as to my semi. I thought they looked beefier. But there you go. So, like and comment. You know I like my comments. And next time you see the trailer, it'll be done. Thanks. It's Jerry.